May 10th, 1931. Dr. Ludwig Maxis forms Group 935 to research Element 115, while your boy Edward was just chilling with the Illuminati. Maxis invited Richtofen to join Group 935 on August 11th, 1936, and he accepted because the Illuminati told Richtofen to spy on them. Together, they invented many things, including teleportation with a device known as the Matter Transference Prototype. Looks like a giant, spiky, zappy dildo to me. Your boy was able to teleport a walnut, but Maxis was all like, no, it's a waste of time. We need funding from Papa G. Shut the f. Richtofen tested more teleportation anyway, this time teleporting himself. He discovered the mysterious pyramid device. It gave him an itty-bitty shock, and now he hears voices. Good going, my Bruda from another Muda. The mysterious pyramid device spits him out in a jungle where the locals worship him and suck his Now, Richtofen's going crazy. Absolutely wazoo. Bonkers. Up the wall. So he builds a base on the moon. In 1940. He quits the Illuminati and says, Teddy was lying, yo, and bails. The moon base was finished in 1942, but Maxis was feeling a little concerned with Richtofen's exposure to Element 115. Richtofen, in 1945, went to Siberia to run some tests on some dudes. A Russian, a Japanese dude, and a Mexican who was like, hey, Holmes. Okay, I'm sorry, that was really bad. Some dude accidentally killed the Mexican dude by slipping, falling, and cutting out his spleen. How you do that is almost a greater mystery than if the Chaos storyline will return. But it's okay, because they replaced him with a tank. No, a guy named Tank. None of the three can remember anything, so Richtofen takes advantage of them. No, not that way. By binding their souls to the elemental shard. Some dude tattled on Richtofen, and Maxis didn't like what he was doing very much. Maxis tells Richtofen to go back to Derice so they can chat a little and continue working on the Matter Transference device. He did, bringing his new friends with him, but putting them to sleep. Maxis tested the Matter Transference device on his daughter's dog. While the dog was in the Matter Transference device, the girl ran into it, and Maxis ran after her. Richtofen trapped them both in the Matter Transference device and teleported them. The girl went to the moon and got stuck in the mysterious pyramid device. Maxis went to the crazy place and went crazy, I guess. Maxis was then teleported to the moon, killed himself, merged with the mysterious pyramid device, or the moon base, or whatever he merged with, and convinced his daughter to raise the dead and use them to kill everyone. How she learned to do that, I have no clue. But then we wouldn't have a game, so shut your Richtofen went back to Derice, woke up his friends, and asked if they'd help him. And for some reason, these three lads say yes to this odd-looking German dude. They went to Rising Sun Facility. Then they go to the Kino Facility. In 1963, because Richtofen is bad at teleporting, but an old creepy Etherean dude helps them. The team uses a thing to fly to the Ascension Facility in Soviet Russia to find out where another thing is. They help a scientist dude who was trapped in a thing called the Casimir mechanism. Richtofen gets the thing he needed, and then the scientist dude sends them to the Siberian Facility using wizardry so they can get another thing. They get stuck in a room at the Siberian Facility in the year of our Lord 2011, while some old guy is making a zombie movie. Ironic, I know. The actors for the movie get the thing Richtofen needs and gives it to him. He and the team then teleport to a jungle temple in 1956 and grab yet another thing. Tank, having no clue how to operate the giant spiky zappy dildo, sends them to the Pentagon in 1963. While they're there, they get another thing and finally head to the moon in 2025, where they originally needed to go. Richtofen, actually being a bad guy, goes into the girl. No, hang on. No, that sounds horrible. He enters the little... No, that's probably a little worse. He inserts his... No, they switch bodies. There. Maxis tells the other three dudes that the only way to defeat Richtofen is to blow up the Earth. And the three dudes say, yeah, sure. Over the next 10 years, Richtofen and Maxis tried talking to people to convince them to turn on these towers that do a thing or something, so they can have ultimate power over something. For some reason, Richtofen could only speak to people who have eaten zombie flesh, so he ends up talking to Sammy Stu over here. Sammy Stu met some other dudes and a lady, but they built one of the things for Maxis instead. Richtofen threw a fit and demanded they build the next thing for him, but Sammy Stu said,
"Nah, dude, you're cool and all, but I trust this Maxis fella more. He's not in my head and all that, you know, man?"
So Richtofen stopped talking to your boy Sammy for a little while. A few months later, the fellas and the lady wind up in Angola, and Richtofen starts talking again. They do the final thing for Maxis, and he gains all the power, or whatever. Maxis then trapped Richtofen inside a zombie.
Doomed to walk the earth for eternity.
Maxis saves his daughter's soul from Richtofen's body and sends her to Agartha, but she didn't like who her dad had become, so she went to a different dimension in hopes that this version of her dad would actually be helpful. Some other confusing stuff happens between this Richtofen and another Richtofen, but eventually everyone ends up being killed by some version of the Russian lad from earlier in an attempt to destroy all universes and exist on only one timeline. I don't know if it worked or not, but eventually we got Vanguard zombies, so like the video and subscribe to the channel, or else Zombie Richtofen will lick between your toes when you go to sleep tonight.